Well, so you've done it. You've ignored everyone telling you to buy the M3. You walk straight past the C63 Mercedes and you've bought yourself an Alfa Giulia Quadrifoglio. It seems that everyone is buying a cheap QV or Quadrifoglio Verde, Thomas at Throttle House, even jacket number 27 to name a couple. To all of you, congratulations though, and to Thomas and James at Throttle House, I really hope that the new Grand Tour does well for you both, along with the train guy. You've just bought what I genuinely believe is one of the most charismatic and entertaining sports saloons ever made. But after owning two of these fabulous cars, I've also learned that they're a little different. They have their own personalities, their own quirks. And there are a few things I wish someone had told me before I picked up the keys. I launched this channel, Backroad Hero, 5 years ago with my first QV, a beautiful blue one. My back catalogue runs to about 34 videos. This is number 35 on all aspects of running, driving, modifying them. So I speak perhaps a little bit from experience. So in this video, I'm going to share exactly what to expect as a new Alfa Giulia Quadrifoglio owner. Firstly, a warranty is money well spent. Let's start with perhaps the least exciting topic. If you can, buy the best warranty you can reasonably afford. Depends on the country and very much depends on the cover. But this is a hand-built Ferrari-derived V6 producing over 500 horsepower. When something goes wrong, the bills can quite quickly become eye-watering. Warranties cover big ticket items like engines, like gearboxes and things like that, rear diffs. It's a trick rear diff on this car as well. So you really don't want to worry too much about the niggly bits. It's the big stuff that basically you'll end up just parking up and turning it into a brick that you want to avoid. Big bills aren't guaranteed, but they're certainly possible. A decent warranty won't make the car any faster, won't make it any more reliable, but it will certainly help you sleep a little bit at night. Don't panic at every warning light. One thing you'll soon learn is that Alfas occasionally like to have opinions. Think of it as that kind of sexy Italian girl that will just as easily turn around and slap you in the face, unprovoked. Sometimes you'll get the odd warning message, but it'll disappear, touch wood, as quickly as it arrived. Before you assume the worst, start with the basics. One issue that can crop up on the earlier cars is the low pressure fuel pump module. I had this go on my first blue car. After I'd sold it, I found out from the new owner that on the drive home from the garage, it stopped. Now, he was driving slightly longer journey than the car had traditionally done. Maybe that was a factor. I don't know, because it was behaving perfectly okay when I traded it in for my Montreal Verde 2023. It's by no means guaranteed to fail, but if it does and you're out of warranty, then you're looking at about £1,000 to replace. Exactly the sort of repair where a good warranty suddenly starts looking like excellent value.
I'm a back road hero, driving through the night, gonna kick up the dust till the morning light with the roar of the...
Look after that split fronter. Look after that front splitter. If you bought an early QV, you'll probably notice it sits slightly lower than the kind of later cars. 2017s were the lowest, 18s were the highest, and then they went back down again, I think, from 2020 onwards. Some people have fitted, obviously, the aftermarket springs as well. Personally, I think it looks better just that little bit lower, but the lower stance gives the car a wonderful, purposeful look. The downside, You'll need to pay a little bit more attention over speed bumps, steep driveways, multi-story car parks, although in my experience, even at the lower ride heights, those aren't the problem. It's bumpy roads when you're pushing on a bit. You find the road grinding away at that expensive piece of carbon fibre out the front. That front splitter isn't cheap. A genuine replacement costs a couple of £1,000, and then it's fitting, and then it's actuators probably as well. Thankfully now there are some excellent aftermarket alternatives in kind of glass fibre. If you get a chance before you buy the car, get down on one knee, get your knees dirty, have a proper look underneath. Heavy damage can become a bargaining point. It's £2,000 for the splitter, about £700 or £800 each for the actuators, plus fitting. You're into easily a £4,000 job there. Certainly at Alfa Romeo you are. Whilst we're talking about the splitter, if you've grounded the front of the car and suddenly have a service active aero warning, don't panic. It doesn't automatically mean that you're buying new actuators. Turn the car off, on again. Sometimes it's as easy as that. Sometimes it'll just need a proxy alignment, and we'll get onto the DIY method a bit later on. Random service active aero messages on the dash could simply be water ingress into the actuator electronics. That's not unusual, and several independent specialists can remove them, dry them out, clean the electrical contacts, and they'll reseal the units and refit for a few £100 compared to replacing them. Of course, if the actuators have been physically damaged, then that's another story. The biggest routine maintenance bill is that 4-year service. Labour rates make up a huge proportion of the cost, and that's where it really pays to shop around. Central London compared to a country garage, should we say, up around my way in Oxfordshire, it might be well worth your while getting a service loan car, booking it in, and saving yourself a few £100 on the labour. That 4-year service includes plugs as well as the auxiliary belt, although it's a chain-driven engine, so it's just auxiliary belts. The recommended Alfa procedure is to remove the bumper. That can damage clips. Either they can repair the clips or use a bit of kind of Matt Armstrong's Mansouri glue to put it back on. So don't be concerned, should we say, if you see a little bit of glue. It might just be the sensible option. But independent specialists have found a way through, letterbox servicing, a way of replacing the auxiliary belt without removing the front bumper. So if there's one piece of advice I'd give every new owner, it's this: look after the battery. These cars are incredibly sensitive to battery voltage, random warning lights, electronic gremlins, intermittent faults. Sometimes all of this comes down to nothing more than just a fraction of a volt below what the car really wants. So before you start chasing expensive repairs, have the battery tested, or you could save an awful lot of money. It's an easy DIY replacement, and in fact, I've got a whole video just for you on that one. So whilst the full procedure has you resetting the car for the new battery, if you're replacing like for like, as I've done a couple of times, I haven't bothered resetting the car. It's worked fine. However, the correct procedure is to use the diagnostic tool, and that leads me nicely on to MultiECUScan. If you intend doing any maintenance yourself, battery replacement, proxy alignment of the splitter, remember I mentioned that earlier, then I'd thoroughly recommend buying the MultiECUScan app and a compatible dongle. It's one of the best investments you can make as an Alfa owner, because as we know, they like to throw random codes. It's nice to reset things or be able to do that, certainly as a first port of call. You can read fault codes, you can monitor live data, carry out service procedures if you're going to do that, and all the other bits that I've just told you about, and loads of other stuff. One thing to remember though, if your car is a 2018 model onwards, there is a thing called a security gateway, an SGW. To unlock the full functionality of MultiECUScan, you'll need an SGW bypass. The connector sits tucked up under the steering column, up the left-hand side. You'll have to do a bit of keyhole surgery for that one. Definitely one of those jobs that's done more by feel than by sight. You'll probably find yourself upside down in the driver's footwell with one arm disappeared up the dash before you finally find it. But once you do, it's, you know what, it's an easy job. I had a little extension where I could get to it easy after a time. Plus, you might want to remove it if your car is going into Alfa, say, for a service as well. One modification I'd recommend almost immediately: an exhaust valve controller. The Ferrari-derived V6 is one of the greatest engines of a modern era with cylinder deactivation, which is why it kind of returns the MPGs that it can. But from the factory, you've got to use race mode to open the valves, and that shuts down the safety mechanisms. I've had hardwired with a remote control. I've also had a fancier one with the CAN bus control and using the trigger on the gear knob. Now, that was absolutely fantastic, and if you're going to go down that route, that's the one I would actually recommend. Finally, tyres, P0 Corsas, they're crap in the wet. If you live in the UK, ditch them. Go for Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's. You can go plus 10mm all round with a standard suspension setup. Or better still, the Conti Sport Contact 7s, which are a much more modern design, slightly better in the dry. I've never used them, so I really can't comment. I just know it's newer technology by 5 or 6 years. Finally, Thomas said in his video that he sold his Toyota because somebody tried to steal it. Well, I hate to break the news to you, buddy. These cars aren't no different. These cars are as vulnerable as they are desirable. Do a little research, think in layers. There's the obvious things that are common to any kind of car with keyless entry, and some not so obvious. Fit a disc lock. One of these. The small sized one works fine, and you can move it on to other cars when you sell. It's highly visible, well proven, one of the best deterrents available. Disable passive keyless entry though through the infotainment system. Okay, you'll have to hit the key every time that you want to unlock the car, but it's a small inconvenience compared to that awkward phone call to your insurance company. Store both your main key and your spare key in Faraday pouches. I'll leave the affiliate links to products down below there. If you buy through those links, it really does help the channel. But if you're really serious about your investment, there are additional electronic security options available to you. Some are commercial products such as ghost immobilizers. Others are discussed quietly within the Alfa community. I'm deliberately not going into detail, but if you're a genuine owner and wishing to protect your car, then spend some time on the forums. They're understandably careful who they share the information with. The important thing is this: don't rely on one security measure. Build layers. The harder your car looks to steal, the more likely a thief is to move on. Although I'm currently exploring other motoring adventures like this BMW i8, I've owned 2 Alfa Giulia Quadrifoglios. They're fabulous cars. I wouldn't be remotely surprised if I had another Quadrifoglio back on the driveway one day. They really are just that special. One of the things I've always loved is the community. The owners are knowledgeable, passionate, and always willing to help. The list of excellent independent Alfa specialists continues to grow every year, but don't overlook a really good Alfa Romeo main dealer either. If you can find one that you trust, an official Alfa service stamp is still worth having. Values have fallen significantly, and today you can pick up a really good, well-maintained Quadrifoglio from around £25,000. Higher mileage cars or patchy histories can be found for less. But my advice is simple: buy on condition, buy on history. And now on to the sponsor of this video. Only joking. Buy the best example you can comfortably afford. Leave the YouTubers to buy the cheap broken versions so that they can get more content and mileage out of them. And when you find the right one, I genuinely think you'll struggle to find another car that offers this level of performance, this amount of character, and this much theatre for the money. But be warned, this Alfa will ruin you for anything else. Every journey feels like an occasion. Look after it, maintain it properly, drive it, enjoy it, and think you'll understand exactly why so many of us end up falling in love with these remarkable cars. Thanks for watching. I'm Ed, this is Backroad Hero, and I'll see you again in the next one. All the best now. Bye.
I'm a back road hero, driving through the night, gonna kick up the dust till the morning light, with the roar of the engine and my boot to the floor, racing the sunrise at 4:30.